Hey guys, Greg here. Today we're going to talk about some of my favorite songs. And for once we're going to talk about something that's not jazz, which is great. Okay, pop songs, popular songs. I've created a new sort of genre of song video criteria. I call it my lonely favorites. My lonely favorite songs. What does that mean? These are songs that I like a lot that not that many other people like as much. And in fact, take any band and say, what's my favorite song for this band? And if you're like the only person who says that's your favorite song for the band, then that's the lonely favorite. It's my favorite song of this band, and it's nobody else's favorite. Does that make sense? Is that too contrived of a topic for a video? Let me give you an example. Let me show you how this started. This all started with Tom Petty. I went to see this Tom Petty cover band, and I'm like, well, they're sure not going to be playing my favorite song tonight. Why not? Because my favorite song is not a big hit. What's your favorite Tom Petty song, Greg? Southern Accents. When did that come out? 1985. Title track of the song Southern Accents. Not a huge hit. I don't think everybody knows this song. But it's not the type of song that you're going to hear one of these cover band concerts, these free concerts in the park or whatever. It's not a huge hit. It is a slow, sad song, not about a romantic relationship. It's about like Southern culture versus Northern culture, and Tom being a Southerner from Florida. It's like how the Northerners look down on us because, you know, we're toothless, illiterate rednecks, whatever. That dynamic of being a Southerner. That's what the song's about, but it's a slow, sad melody. It resonates with me. Maybe because I'm a slow, depressed person. Maybe. So anyway, that's the topic of the video. Lonely favorites. Favorites of yours that are not favorites of other people. That's why I call them lonely favorites. My wife had the same revelation when I was telling her about this. The exact same thing happened to her. Our friend is in a Tom Petty cover band, and she was talking to someone. She goes, well, they're not playing my favorite song tonight either. What's that? Magnolia. But the other person was like, I never heard of what's that? So it's okay if you have favorite songs that are not popular amongst everybody else. That doesn't mean you're a weirdo. Maybe it does mean you're a weirdo. Or it may mean you have more refined tastes. Now, one way to verify the statistical accuracy of this endeavor, go to Spotify and you can look up the top stream songs of any artist. And if your favorite song is not in the top 10 stream songs, it's probably a lonely favorite. Okay, we started with Tom Petty, Southern Accents. What's your favorite Nirvana song? Think about it. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium, Something in the Way, Come As You Are. My favorite Nirvana song is not on Nevermind. My favorite Nirvana song is called Sliver from 1990 Insecticide. Very few people outside of hardcore Nirvana fans even know that song. It is another sad song. It reminds me of when I was a kid. My parents were divorced, and 6 or 7 years old, you're always getting dumped off at your grandma's house. Not because it's a holiday and you want to see your grandma, but because your single mom needs a free babysitter. That's kind of what the song is about. Getting stuck at grandma's house. Grandma's going to watch you, grandma's going to feed dinner. Well, why am I here? Again, to be on this list, it has to be your favorite song by that band. Not one of your favorites, not, oh, I like it. Not, oh, yeah, I like some of their deep cuts. Your favorite song by that band has to be a song that is not in anybody else's favorite list. Okay, let's move on to a pop star. One of the most popular artists of all time, and someone I don't really like. Billy Joel. Okay, the top song on Spotify for Billy Joel is Uptown Girl, which is one of the worst, stupidest songs ever. I featured that in my video of the worst songs of all time. Uptown Girl, still rock and roll to me. Okay, he's a good songwriter, but he has some terrible songs that are popular. Maybe this is a commentary on the musical taste of the American public. My favorite Billy Joel song, yeah, he's written a couple of songs that are tolerable. New York State of Mind from the 1976 Turnstiles record. It's jazzier than most of his songs. It starts out with the kind of a New Orleans boogie-woogie bluesy piano, and then the New York State of Mind chorus is a real cool jazz chord progression, and that's why I like it. Okay, it's got a jazz inflection. Hey, I thought you weren't going to talk about jazz in this video, Greg. Okay, that'll be the last time I talk about jazz in this video, I promise, okay? Let's move along. Okay, for number 4, I put The Replacements' Answering Machine. Is that song well-known, popular? I think I looked it up on Spotify and it wasn't in the top 10. But from the 1984 album Let It Be, Answering Machine, a depressing breakup song. The dude is like, I can't talk to my girl anymore. I can only get through to her answering machine. How do you talk to an answering machine? It is a slow, sad song, like me. Are the Replacements too obscure for this list? I don't think so. Okay, let's go back to another super mega pop act duo, Simon and Garfunkel. What is your favorite Simon and Garfunkel song? I mean, they've written so many great songs, but I don't think that many people are going to cite this as their favorite Simon and Garfunkel song. The Only Living Boy in New York, from the 1970 Bridge Over Troubled Waters album. So this song was kind of it was an expression of Paul Simon talking about being alone in New York by himself because his partner Art Garfunkel left to go do a movie. And it's almost like a straight male longing, not a breakup song. It's one man longing for the company of another straight man. Nothing weird going on there. But he refers to him as Tom because remember, before there were Simon and Garfunkel, they referred to themselves as Tom and Jerry. And this song kind of got on my radar from the movie, the Garden State movie soundtrack. Great movie soundtrack. If you're an audio geek, the vocals on the chorus are really cool. There's like a lot of depth and spaciousness. Get to that part in the song and make sure you're in the sweet spot and listen to your speakers. It sounds great. Okay, now I've got a really weird one on my list. Bob Mould. I think he's too obscure an artist to be on this list. Bob Mould, Husker Du. Bob Mould only has 14,000 listeners on Spotify, which is awful because he's like such a amazing songwriter. 1990 title track to the record Black Sheets of Rain. Super heavy guitar sound. A song about pollution and sludge and toxic gunk and how our planet is being destroyed, but the guitar is heavy. Bob Mould might be too obscure an artist for this type of list. I don't know. You guys tell me. Let's go back to mega artists. One of the biggest selling artists of all time. And I think not that many people are going to cite this as their favorite song by Bruce Springsteen. I'm not a huge Springsteen fan. He's got some good songs. But then when Born in the USA came out, it was kind of over for me. Like that song is also on my list of worst songs of all time. I don't like that song. I think it's a goofy song. And I think it's the wrong direction. But The River, 1980 album The River, the title track, it's another sad, depressing song. But it's about a dude living in a small town, getting a union job and working hard, working class. The whole Bruce Springsteen thing about working class angst. You know, that describes it. I didn't realize this album has all this junk in it.
It's got 2 discs and 2 separate sleeves. The sleeves look kind of alike.
Okay, another mega group. How many people love The Who? And how many people's favorite Who song was written and sang by John Entwistle, the bass player? Not very many people are going to cite My Wife as their favorite Who song. My Wife, let's see, on Who's Next, 1971, one of their biggest records. And this was actually the B-side to Baba O'Reilly. And it's one of the more creative melodies and chord progressions of any Who song. It's not a big, intense, epic song like Baba O'Reilly, but something about the melody I love. And it's a song about kind of his relationship with his wife, somebody old like me who's been married a while, and it sounds like he's sort of terrified of his wife. Like she's always chasing him and yelling at him for doing something bad. So it's a matured marriage song, not a romantic love song, but like, oh shit, what did my wife, what's she gonna find out what I did now? Like when I was getting these records out, my wife said, be sure you put those records back in the exact place you found them, because I've arranged every subsection chronologically. All the Tom Petty albums are in chronological order of release. Like, yes, dear. My friend just played it in his cover band And I'm like, yeah, this song. So this song re-entered my vocabulary because my friend played it, and I really dug it. And so when you're doing, if you do a list of lonely favorites, hey, let's do hashtag lonely favorites if you want to make a video on this topic. Maybe no one cares. I don't know. You might have a lonely favorite because of something that happened to you in your life, and that song was there to accompany you and get you through that period, or just remind you of that period, or you just might be a weirdo, like me. Okay, another band that's too small to be on this list is Helmet. Hardcore, metalcore band, Helmet, from the 90s. And on their 1994 album, Betty, they did a jazz standard called Beautiful Love. Like, Bill Evans does this song. It's a great jazz standard, romantic. And Page Hamilton was a trained jazz guitar player, so he does this jazzy version of it, and then they just break into a heavy metal of the same song continuously. Same tempo, they just turn up the jam. I've got a great recording I did of this song when I saw them in LA. Maybe I'll edit that in. Maybe I won't. But again, that band is probably too obscure to be on this list, because most people don't have a favorite Helmet song. But if they do have a favorite Helmet song, it's probably In the Meantime. So it is an unusual song. Okay. Back to some heavy mega groups, Aerosmith. My favorite Aerosmith song. What's your favorite Aerosmith song? Mine is called One Way Street, from, I guess, their first album, 1973. Aerosmith. Was it 73 or 71? The same record that has Dream On it, I think. And One Way Street is a little jazzy. It has a really cool chord progression and a really cool blues lick. And it was a big deal for me because I learned to play it on the guitar early in my career. I used to play it a lot. And One Way Street by Aerosmith. Nobody's top 10 is that song, probably. Same thing with Black Sabbath. My Black Sabbath favorite is 1972 Snowblind, a song about using too much coke. But again, it was one of the first decent songs that I learned on the guitar. And so, I mean, I knew how to play, Iron Man and stuff, but Snowblind was a little more complicated. It's not really complicated, but for a beginner, it's a cool song to learn on guitar. And I just have a special love for that song, Snowblind. And we're going to end on another super mega band that I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, Journey, but I have a favorite song of Journey's. So a lot of times with these lonely favorites, it's like, here's a band I don't really like that much, but I have this one song of theirs that I like, and that's your lonely favorite, because you might be the only person who likes that song. Coming in at number 10, the last song on the list, from the 1981 mega album Journey Escape, is Stone in Love. It was kind of a minor hit for them, but the guitar thing at the end I think is really cool. And actually Rick Beato mentioned this, the guitar solo to Stone in Love, as one of his top 5 greatest rock solos, which surprised me. I didn't think it would be in the top 5 of all time, for him anyway. But I like that song. I like that solo. Neil Schon is a great guitar player, whether you like Journey or not. He was invited to play with Santana when he was like 17 years old. Okay, that's how good he was and still is. Whether you like Journey's music, he's a great guitar player. He is, face it. And I've got a great story about when I hung out and met Neil Schon. It didn't go well at all. If he remembers me at all, he thinks I'm something bad. And I'll tell that song on another video. Guys, these are my lonely favorites, my favorite songs of a bunch of bands that I don't think anyone else cites as their favorite song. Okay, do you have lonely favorites? Favorite songs, your favorite song by a given band that are kind of weird, kind of obscure, kind of deep cuts that you don't think anybody else has as their favorite song. My wife was saying, well, what about the Beatles? What about the Stones? I'm like, there's so many songs of theirs that I like, I can't pick a favorite. So if it's one of your favorite bands of all time, you probably don't have something on this list. If it's a band that's like either not your favorite or a band that you don't even like, but you have a song that you like, they might be on the list. So think about it. Do you have a lonely favorite song or 2 or 5? Let me know. Hashtag lonely favorites if you think it's worth doing. I don't know. Also, don't forget Instagram. My channel is just as big on Instagram as it is here on the YouTube. Check out my channel. There's a lot of weird, crazy, goofy videos on my Instagram. tangentially related to music, sometimes funny. If you subscribe to me and you have a vinyl thing on Instagram or YouTube, I will sub back to you. And thanks for listening and watching.
Woo!